Hi everyone, this is Jan, and I hope everyone's doing really well. Today, gosh, we're already in the month of May. Anyway, what we're going to do today is I'm just going to show you how to do different couple of ways to do your peony petals whenever you paint them. I love doing the peonies because they're very loose, and I enjoy doing the overstroke on these little flowers, and they're big enough to where you have room to do that. Now for today's painting, I have a little 8x8 canvas here, and this is just stretched, and I have used liquid text paints for the background. I have used a light blue violet, and I've also used dioxine purple for the background. And I just did a crisscross stroke with one of the bigger brushes here. This one here is a glaze brush. It's a 3/4 inch from Plaid, and I bought this many moons ago, but it is a great brush. Has just the right bend to it to where you can get nice overstrokes with it. Some brushes you get, they might be a little too stiff when you want to do your stroking like this. It might be have too many hairs that are in the ferrule here. If they're too fat in here in the ferrule, then you're not going to get the bend that you need for it to bend whenever you're doing those strokes. So I like a brush that's thin right here in the ferrule, right close to where they crimp it right here. You don't want a brush that's real thick in there. Okay, so the first part of this that I have done is I have blocked in my colors here, and for the colors I have, because I live in California and my paints dry out really fast, I have used the open acrylics here, the golden open acrylics. And I have used magenta, there's an alizarin, there's a couple of different reddish colors, and here's a yellow ochre, and of course our white right there for our overstroke. And on the open acrylics, they like you to use, it's called open thinner. And what it does, it leaves your acrylics open so that you can do wet on wet. It would be the same thing as if I was using the folk art acrylics, then you would use the blending gel. Okay, every brand has their own little extender that they have for whatever paint you're using. And that's, being I'm using open acrylics, that's the extender I'm using. If you're not using that, there's oodles of extenders out there for whatever brand you're using. Now, if you use the floating medium doesn't extend your drying. It doesn't extend your drying time. It just makes your paint flow a little better. That's if you're going to paint fairly fast. But if you want some time to block in your colors and you want to do an overstroke over it, and you're not in any real big hurry, then you could use some of these other paints like the open paints that I have here, or you could use your blending gel and blend that in your other acrylics, mix it in, and it would extend your drying time for you. Okay, so that's what I have on my palette here. And the first thing that I do is, also I have a little filbert brush here, and I use this one. This is a 10, and I use this one to block. If I'm going to be blocking in my colors, I like using the filbert brush. This is a good size right here. And if I'm doing the overstroke, which I will be doing, then I go ahead and use a 3/4 or a 16 flat brush if you want. Okay, so I'm going to do this petal down here in the same style that I did here, and when we move up here I'll show you some other ways that you can go ahead and do your stroking. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and mist my paints here. See, just a little mister bottle. And I'm going to mist it because I've got a fan on behind me back here. I don't want my paints to start crusting over or anything, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I paint light, medium, dark. So our dark color would be this color here, which is the alizarin, and I'm just pulling out paint here, loading both sides, just so you get a good amount there. See, it's not globby or anything, it's just loaded on both sides of the brush there. It feels real creamy. That's what you want. And what I'll do is I'll come back here, and the dark part of this is going to be up near the base, right up here, and right under this right here, because this petal's on top. So you're going to have a dark area. This will be lighter because it's coming on the top of that one right there. So I'm just base coating this in. Now let's go ahead and pick up our magenta, which is the pink here. And if you need a little bit of extender there, go ahead and dip into that. And the rest of this I'm just going to fill in loosely with this other color. You don't have to be picky about it. And I'm just going to kind of blend these other colors together right here. And I can feel it's already setting up. Having this fan on behind me is not helping my cause here. Okay, so, but I can still see that this, if I turn it and tilt it, see the shine on there? That means it's still wet. Now when I'm loading the white color here, I'm going to dip my brush tip in a little water, and I'm going to pull out some paint here. Now for this color, you want this color to be loose. You don't want it to pull on you when you're loading your brush up. You want it nice and loose. Okay, just like that. Not runny, but just loose. Okay, now I'm going to pull back this way in my strokes, and I like to start in the center, so I am going to touch my brush here, and I'm going to pull in. Okay, next thing you want to do is go ahead and wipe the back end of that brush. See, it picked up color because it's wet, and I'm just going to barely touch the edges of that brush so that it'll pick up that pink that I just picked up. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to dress my brush again before I do the next stroke. Okay, here's the next one. Okay, again, wipe that back edge, come back, reload. Okay, do the next one. Wipe that edge, come back, reload. If you feel it dragging, dip the edge of your brush in some water and come back. Now this one has to curve this way, like that. Okay, now come back. Alright, curve this one the other way, and this one curves this way. Okay, so now I'm going to redo this one. I want that one to go right up there. Now, what you can also do, let me set this aside here, is you can pick up your mop brush, see your mop brush, and you can come in here, as long as it's still shiny wet. If you don't get your pulls just right, you can pull the white further down, and then wipe the brush off. And it looks like my pink is taking over here. Oh, well, yeah, I got some white on that. Like that. And it looks like when I touch that pink, boy, it comes right up here into the white. Okay, that's how fast this is drying. But, you know, if you don't get your little feathering down far enough and you want to pull up some more of the other color, that's how you would do it. Now down here, see, I had, so I'm just going to feather that out a little bit with some of the color so it doesn't look goofy. Okay, there we go. Now it's pulling down. I can just keep going. Okay, and pull some of that down, a little bit further down. So you have your feather brush. Yep. Okay, and then that will create your feather on there. And you can do the same thing once you do these. You could do the same thing. Now on this brush here, what I like to do, I don't want this paint to dry. I wet it. I know they say don't wet these. Well, with the method I use, I wet it and clean it when I'm finished. And I pounce it up and down on a paper towel. And I refluff it. I just refluff it. That gets almost all the water. It's not going to have any water in it. It's clean. It's ready to go for next time. By the time I get to my next petal, we're okay to use this again. Alright? Now another way that we can go ahead and do these petals is to, instead of blocking in our colors, we can actually go ahead and paint in our colors. And for that, I don't need the filbert brush anymore. What I would need is just a regular flat brush. And I've got a 16 here, so let's show you how to do that one. We're going to do this one right here. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now we still have the white. See, I still have the white, and it's still pliable. I'm going to dip a little bit of water here so it doesn't dry out on me. Just kind of blot it and set it aside here. I'm not cleaning it. Okay, now let's pick up a different color here. I want to go into a little bit of yellow ochre and a little bit of the magenta, right? And I just want a little bit of a different color. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white with that yellow ochre. Okay, I don't want it real yellowy. Now I can feel that pulling with me. I'm going to dip in just a little bit of water. There we go. I want this really fairly loose. Alright, so it's the right consistency. So now I'm going to come up here. Let me move this so that it's level here. Okay, and then I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to pity pat color on like this. Okay, like that. Now, let's pick up our brush with the white on it. And we're still going to overstroke it. Okay. Now I'm going to tilt this a little bit. And let's see, start with this one. Like that. That's your first stroke. Here. There's your second stroke. Dress my brush again. There's your third stroke. Okay. Now if you want to redo a small one right here, just slant your brush at an angle, because this one's gonna, it's coming down like this, and it's going to be right here like that. Okay, it's a side petal. This one's going to come up like that. Alright, now this one over here is another side petal, but it's in front of this one here. So I would have to do this one here before I do the other. So let's go ahead and Load up my brush again. Let's go ahead and get a double load on this. Alright, now let's go ahead. I'm going to turn this, and let's go ahead and pity pat this in. I want to make sure that the gold gets down on the bottom here. And the pink is at the top. Okay? And it can be messy. It doesn't have to be so-so, because we're going to overstroke this anyways. And again, I want my paint to be loose, but not water. Okay, I'm going to tilt that this way. Alright, here we go. This one, press down. I'm going to blot it just a little bit. Okay, and this one, like that. Pick up some more paint, and this one, like that. Now if you want it airier, you can come back to this one right here and do that one to where it looks a little airier. I dipped in a little water. There. And roll that one right on around. Okay. So you can do them as airy as you want to. See, this one's a little more airier. I picked up a little more water with it. But again, if I want more paint with it, I can come back and add more paint to it. I can redo that stroke here. See, we can come back and redo a stroke. We're not stuck with the first stroke we do. Okay, now that makes it a little more prominent there. Alright, I have so many petals here. And pull that right on up into your petal. Okay. So you can rework these petals if you need to. Alright? And what I did was and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little petal in front of that. There we go. So I just completely changed it from one big petal to some little bitty ones for this one. Okay? And you have that option too. You can do that on them. So you can change them. And all I can say is the only way you learn how to do these is to get in and try to do them. And if it doesn't work out, let it dry and come back in and try again. But you have to learn the correct amount of pressure that you need on your brushes in order to get the look you want. Now, everybody doesn't necessarily want the same look, so what I like on mine isn't necessarily what you might like on yours. So, you know, everybody's got their own little look that they like whenever they're doing flower petals. So that's like 3 different types of petals you can do. You can do the fast ones, You can certainly do your strokes to where you don't even need to do an overstroke. You can just go ahead and do a double loaded stroke and fill in your petal, and you don't have to worry about the overstrokes. But I think the overstrokes are very pretty once you learn how to do them, and they're worth the time to learn. Okay, now I'm going to load up again some yellow and some magenta, and I'm just going back and forth. And our next petal here, I got to push down on my canvas, otherwise it's going to move with me, would be the back petals. And again, I'm just pitty-patting color, pitty-patting color. Pat, 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 and move. That's all I'm doing. I'm not worried with getting the right strokes or anything on this. I'm just laying in color. Okay, again, we're going to pull out our white and load our brush. Okay. And again, come up here, trying to tilt this so that you can see it at an angle. Okay, let's go ahead and go up here. Let's go this way, like that. That one will come that way, that one that way. Okay. Now, if you don't wipe your brush off, it'll eventually get a little muddy on you. Okay. And that's what's happened on this one. It got a little muddy with me, but I'm going to make 2 petals out of that instead of 1. I'm going to pick up a little more white. Now I'm going to tilt this, and I'm going to restroke that. I'll pick up a little more paint, and I'm going to go right here. And instead of having 1 petal, I've got a bunch of other little ones in there. Okay? There you go. Now you can see how much lighter this is here than this down here. So on the next petal, if I can, well, I don't want to do that one because these 2 are in the front. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish all these petals out so you can see what colors I've used, and then I'll come back and I'll show you how to do the center part. Okay, that way I can't take up a whole lot of video time because it takes too long to download these up to YouTube. So let me finish out what I have here, and then I'll come back and show you about the center. Okay, be right back. Okay, we're back. Now when you do your center part here, what I used for that was the dioxine purple. I put that on first and do an oval shape and a dome shape, and then I tapped in a little bit of this light blue color here, tapped a little bit of that, and I was using just the corner of my brush to lay it in, outline it, and then tap the other color. And then I just went ahead and used a liner brush. I like the longer liner brushes. Let's see, you can see it over here, just a longer liner. That's a number 2. And used water to get it real loose, and then I just took the tip and just dabbed in little dots for it. Now for the leaves, I did the leaves just really simple. I just used like a sap green on one side, and I used the dioxine purple on the other side, the dark side, and then I picked up just a little bit of the light color, the white, and I gotta get a little water with this. It's getting a little bit dry. And then I went ahead and that made the lighter green. Now when I do these, what I like to do is, let's do another one just right out here, okay? So if I come out right here, let's say I'm going to do one out this way. I've got to hold the bottom here. So I'm going to have my light out to the outside. So I just come up, make a stroke out, and then when I come back, I touch right down here like that, kind of at an angle. And then I just come down and come right out and end in the same point there. And then it makes a little vein for you, and you don't even have to do it. It will just automatically do a vein for you. And then for the next one, I just reload and I do the same thing. Okay? And the same thing when you're doing any other leaf on here. Now I think if I'm looking at this, I think I'd like to see a leaf maybe out here. So I'm going to touch here, pull, then I'm going to go right next to this leaf, touch, flatten out, and pull in. And then that would make your other leaf. So I'm not spending a lot of time on these leaves. I'm going to pick up a little blue here. Let's see if I can put a little blue in one of these. I might be able to do like a smaller leaf. Let's put a little smaller leaf up here. Maybe we want some smaller ones like that. Okay, get your brush into a chisel edge. And we'll just put some little stems in like that. So go ahead and put in as many leaves as you want to. Here's another little one right there. Like that. So I usually do sets of 3s. An odd number. I do odd numbers. Now also, if you want a little more color in yours, you can pick up any color that you've worked with on your leaves, okay? You don't have to have them all just green. You know, whatever you have. You've got yellow ochre in here, you've got pinks, you've got reds. You can just put whatever colors you want to in here. Okay, you can do a little one. I'm going to have to hold on to my canvas here. See, now that one had a little bit of peach in there. That's kind of neat, huh? So let's do another one with that little peach color. Yeah, I like that one. I want a little peach on this one here. So I'm just going to come back and go ahead and put a little peach on this one. It's in the front there, so okay. Yeah, and that was just a little bit of cad red light with a little bit of the white in it. So you can pick up different colors. Let's go back up here. Let's see if I can get a little peach one. There we go, off of that one. Okay, so you want to add little other hints of color. I think that makes it look really, really nice. Okay, I've got quite a few leaves going on here. I don't think I really need any more on here. You know, you could always add a bud or something down here, but for the purpose of doing this little peony, I just wanted to do something that you could do for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up, and I thought you might like to paint someone a little Mother's Day painting that wouldn't take very long to do. You could even give this to a good friend who's a mom, or maybe you have a friend that has children. Give them a little Mother's Day painting, and they would really enjoy getting something from you. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll try to get more paintings out for you. We're going to be rolling into summer, so I don't know how long I can last in the heat here. When it gets real hot, you know, this room gets too hot for me to be in, so it depends on if I can get up early enough to do them. So thank you for joining me. Take care, and until next time, bye for now.